We'll start with you, brother. I tell you what, if you give the address to one of my homies right here, we'll stop by there tomorrow on our way out of town. Lady right there. Right. I think that there are some misgivings about the Occupy movement to a lot of people when they see it being marginalized on television. They say to themselves, oh man, it's just a bunch of homeless people. And to put it into perspective, you ask yourself, oh, homeless people, you mean like those people who lost their houses because the banks decided to have predatory loans to trail them out? Those type of homeless people? When you want to relate it to certain issues and they say, oh, you mean there's just a bunch of drug addicts. Oh, you mean like the people who have been criminalized because they have addiction issues, people that are doing life in prison over marijuana possession, those types of people. I think the whole point is to find issues that are relatable to people that are living in everyday society now that would look at it and automatically judge and then be able to give them a new dimension of understanding to what you want to discuss. As long as you continue that discussion going, you know? No, I'm not that old, brother, you know. I'm a grown man, but I can't ever say that I'm next too far. That lady there in the blue.
Your perspective or your lyrics on women make it hard for me to really identify clearly because I feel like almost betrayal to my brother. So,
I think, look, that's a fair criticism. People go through a certain development in life. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, if you talk to me about racial politics or gender politics, anything, I'd probably just laugh at you and then rob you. Like, I didn't care about it. I was just like, what does that matter? At some point, you know, when you look at a song like Dance with the Devil, right, which is about rape, people, and we had this discussion with the group earlier, like, how could a song be that graphic? Well, if I didn't make it that graphic, people would know how denigrating, how horrific it really is. And then what I started to do to mature that perspective, say, okay, you know what? I have to give a synopsis now, and I have to explain this to take on the responsibility of the music I make. And now, if you listen to the last album I did, for example, I have a song called Natural Beauty, right? And although the lyrics might be abrasive, the whole point of the song was to be able to deal with the misgivings that people have about the way women see themselves. So if you look at that, it is a testament to the evolution of the way I see it, the way people should see themselves. And I introduced it, and then I outro the song with a very, very passionate statement about how not only women should view themselves, but how men should view themselves. Because my friend's daughter had originally looked in the mirror and been like, well, I have horribly bad hair. And I was like, no, sweetheart, you have beautiful African hair. That hair is beautiful to me. You've been taught that hair is ugly. Or she looked at the magazine and she said, you know, I'm not as skinny as these women. I don't think I'm pretty. And I say, look, that's not real. That's a computer, sweetheart. That's not real. Somebody airbrushed this. You know, so while the song starts out talking about a European standard of beauty, I can even recite it to you line for line. It says, they corrupted the priceless. And of course there is, difficult language to digest, and people will say, well, you used the word bitch. Well, I used it to grab your attention because the rest of the song has to have an incredibly, it says, they corrupted the priceless African image of ISIS, replaced it with a lifeless, anorexic white bitch. Not to talk about white women or to talk about anything, but to talk about how the standard of beauty is not about anything except what people have decided to change it from a marketing perspective, to use insecurity as a tool against women.
to replace it with a lifeless anorexic language. The fashion industry got them in a funny spot. Self-hatred leaking out their mouth like a money shot. Movies from Hollywood Babylon fantasy. Bunch of peacock bitches in a cocaine canopy. And if you're healthy, they make you think you're a manatee. Look how they invented this Eurocentric insanity. Got you brainwashed to the point you bleaching your skin, blind to the truth and can't see the beauty within. Because ain't nothing wrong with exercise to tighten your thighs, but there's something wrong with contacts that lighten your eyes. We going backwards from hip-hop in the park to the experiments by Dr. Kenneth Clark. So after the cannabis, I'ma have to handle this, release the pressure on her and open her like an amethyst. The business of beauty isn't a natural model. It's built to be the opposite of the cultures we topple. These magazines got you caught in a hustle. Because when you starve yourself, your body doesn't burn fat, it burns muscle. And men who don't even like women control the business. That's why the women look like men and the men like bitches. I break it down as God is my witness. Remember Sambo caricature characteristics, but now who got the collagen under their lipstick, implanted Arabic hips, surgical sickness, a bipolar society that claims to be righteous, spray painting artificial melanin, trying to be like us, living in a pathetic epidemic, the schizophrenics buying a synthetic body with credit. You mad that I said it, but you know that I'm right. Find you a natural beauty and get you natural love tonight. Well, I think I'm going to be very honest. In my era, it was just battles. Battles is what got your name known to people more than anything else. You could do open mics, but they really didn't take that seriously. So what I would do is basically I would show up to clubs where there was an open mic, and I would just get in line and I would wait to battle somebody. Or I'd be outside the club, and everybody would be in a cipher, and you know, there's a lot of testosterone in the cipher, people are young, talking reckless, and it's only a matter of time before somebody says something in a freestyle about your shoes or your shirt, and it's like, I got you now. But I mean, I think at some point it had to go beyond that, and I think that not just doing that, but being able to perform at every venue. I mean, brother, I have worked in some dives. I performed on top of a newspaper selling box, kicked over and just jumped on top of it in front of a spot. And we charged people $5 to get in, and I just performed there. You know, I performed in front of 70,000 people in Colombia at a gigantic festival, or 50,000 people in Europe, or, you know, 45,000 people at Taco Bell's in LA. It didn't matter the size of the venue to me, and it took a lot of humbling for yourself, you know what I mean? You can't just say, oh, well, I only want these type of fans, or I only want these type of people. It doesn't matter if they're willing to support your music, then you have to understand that they identify with some aspect of it. And if you're making music that people can identify with and that they feel in their heart and soul, then you have to go out there and seek them out. You know what I mean? However it is that you do that. Now, if you're not reaching the core audience that you have, then the real question becomes, what do I need to do to make my music more effective in order to reach people's minds? It doesn't have to be completely revolutionary. You could be rhyming about something that has nothing to do with revolution, but yet it deals with daily life. It connects with somebody in some way, shape, or form. So that I've had, you know, a young girl from Vietnam at my shows, and at the same time, there's a 60-year-old Jewish guy in the back with his wife. And it's just like, yo, I liked what you said on Rich Man's World about the banking system. That was cool. Like, they've been robbing people for years. And then the girl was like, yo, I really liked, you know, Dance with the Devil. So at some point, you know, something, you got to make it connect with somebody, but you have to find them. It can't just be them finding you.
You did a song, earlier, you got a 17 early from line for together, and I'm just kind of curious how those collaborations work from one artist to one artist that you guys actually did together.
Good question. Well, I'll be honest, you know, Brother Ali was one of the first people I ever went on tour with, so that's how I met him. Like, actually, we passed through Eugene at Portland, maybe in like 2004. long time ago, many moons ago. We strolled through town, and Chuck D has always been a personal inspiration. He's been one of those people that I've tried to model myself in the way that he never looks at someone and says, oh, you make down south music, or you make West Coast music, or you just make music, and you're a young brother of any color, any nationality in hip-hop, and you want to talk to me or have a conversation. If I don't open myself up to at least respond to you, acknowledge your struggle, or try to help you, then how much of a revolutionary am I really? And that's how he put it, and that's how I try to be. So I remember when I first started coming in the game, he had the humility to say, you know what, I really like your music. I feel like it's a continuation of that struggle that we need. You know, I like Dead Prayers too. I like you. I want to see you guys continue to make music like that. Killer Mike was the quintessential down south brother that just had the biggest heart in the world. Even though he ran the streets, he did all that when he was young, and his verse is about the conflict of people within the street, which is what Civil War song is about, the inner conflict of things. Brother Ali, I asked a lot about Islam and the inner conflict of living in America and having those prejudices put on him. And at the same time, you know, I think that it came together just because of those personal relationships. It wasn't like someone at the label was like, you know, for this demographic, we need these people, and then for this demographic. And, you know, I like things to happen organically, you know. Whereas in the major label world, they literally will say, okay, we need the song for the bitches, and we need the song for the club, you know what I mean? And we need the song for you to bump in the car. And then we need the West Coast market, so get this guy on the record. I don't really get along with that, man. Shut up and put him on the record. Like, you know, that's how they are.